Hello friends, today we're going to be baking this special cake. Yes, it's a very special cake since I'm baking it for my son who will be turning 2 today. So that's the reason why this numerical 2. I have frosted it with buttercream as well as I have added in some chocolates because kids love chocolates, though my son hasn't started eating chocolates yet. But then just to give that feel that it's for a small baby that we are baking. So without any further delay, let's get into the video and see how to bake this cake from the scratch. So let us see as to what are the ingredients required to make our vanilla cake. Here I have about 1 cup of unsalted butter, that is 226 grams of butter, which is unsalted and at room temperature. And then I have granulated sugar, which is about 1.5 cups, that would be 300 grams. In case you want a much sweeter cake, you can go in for 2 cups of sugar, which would be around 400 grams. And then we have all-purpose flour or maida, which is about 3 cups I've taken here, and that would be 345 grams. I have sifted the flour. And then we need 4 large eggs at room temperature again. And then we have 1 cup of milk, which is again at room temperature. And then we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and since it's a vanilla cake, 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. So these are all the ingredients required. So let's get going and see how to prepare the cake batter. I'm using a stand mixer here. You may use regular hand mixer as well. So what I've done here is I've added the butter, which is about 1 cup, into this bowl, and I'm going to beat this for just a minute until this butter gets soft. You can see here the butter is getting beaten. So now I'm going to slowly add in the sugar. So I've scraped all the sides and the bottom as well, and I'm still going to further continue beating this for about 3 to 5 minutes until this whole mixture becomes light and fluffy. So let's continue to beat it. So about 5 minutes have passed. I'm adding in the vanilla essence. I shall go ahead and beat this. Now I shall add in the eggs one at a time. So all our eggs have been beaten. Now is the time to add the dry ingredients, and before we add the dry ingredients into the all-purpose flour, I'm adding in the baking powder and I'm adding in the salt and just giving it a good mix with a whisk. So now we're going to add in the flour and the milk, but the flour is supposed to be added in 3 stages and the milk in 2 stages. So starting with the flour, let's add in 1 part of the flour now. So now I'm going to add in half of the milk. Again, the flour mixture. The rest of the milk goes in now. Now for the last bit of flour left. So our cake batter is ready. You can see as to how light and airy it is. So now is the time to go ahead and pour this batter into our cake pan. So here I have two trays into which I'm going to add in the cake batter. I have lined the trays with parchment paper, and I've also sprayed some cooking oil onto them so that the baking sheet releases easily from the cake after baking. Spread the batter evenly in the tray. You may use a spatula or a spoon to spread it out. And always pack the trays so as to release the air bubbles. Now is the time to put our baking trays into the oven. I have preheated my oven for about 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. So now is the time to put in our baking trays. My oven can accommodate both the trays, so I'm keeping both my trays in the middle rack. It's at 180 degrees Celsius. I have set the timer to 30 minutes, but I shall check the cake at 25 minutes itself. And the best way to check if your cake is done is to insert a toothpick in the middle of the cake and see if it comes out clean. So let's wait for 25 minutes. So here is our vanilla cake, perfectly baked. I'm going to let it sit here for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I shall remove it out of the tray. So I'm going to allow these two cakes to cool down completely, after which we shall do the frosting. So now we're going to see how to give it the numerical 2 shape, the number 2 shape. So for which I have a cookie cutter here. I'm going to press this cookie cutter down in the middle in order to remove a circular shaped cake out of this big circle. In case you do not have a cookie cutter, what you can do is you can use a glass like this and just run a sharp knife around so as to cut this circular shaped cake. So I shall do it with the cookie cutter and show you. I'm just going to press it down in the middle. Run it all the way through down, and here we have. So I've got the cake out. Now what we shall do is we shall further cut it at this point. So imagine this is your clock. So cut it exactly at the point where your clock strikes 6 o'clock, and then when your clock strikes 9. So here you go. And this piece is not going to go waste, it's going to come over here. So I'm showing it to you in another angle. So it was like this. So we cut it out and we just bring it down over here, and our partially a number 2 is formed. I shall further keep another piece over here. So here is our square cake. So further, to give it the numerical 2 shape, what I'm going to do is, using this piece, I'm going to see what is the width of it. So it's somewhere over here. So I shall cut this using a serrated knife. So here it is, the numerical 2 shaped cake, and these gaps That is okay. They will get covered as we frost the cake. So now it's the time to frost it. Not to worry, these cakes wouldn't go waste. I shall frost these, and this is the one which came out from the middle there, and this is my square shaped cake, the left out from the square shaped cake. So I shall frost even these. So let's go ahead and start frosting them. Here I've done a crumb coat for the cake. Crumb coat is nothing but I've just taken out the cake and given it a thin coating of buttercream. Buttercream recipe is already there in my channel. You can check it out. So to the same buttercream, I've just added a teal color and I've given the cake a thin coating. That's called crumb coat. Hello friends, I'm really very sorry. Please pardon me. I couldn't shoot while I was frosting because everything happened in the last minute. I was in a haste. So since it's for a small baby who's a 2-year-old, I have added some chocolates and some rosettes. This is the final outcome of the cake. I shall definitely do another video wherein I shall frost a cake and show you all how it is done actually. Please pardon me once again. I couldn't show the frosting of this cake. I hope you all understand it's in the midst of a birthday party. Happy birthday to